Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the guys. We got the full cast today, man. It's me, Mount Chris. We got Deuce, Kev, RL, and Zion in the building. I didn't even know he went that way. The path of Zion. Say what's up to everyone who's tuned in on the respective platforms today.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us.
What's up?
What it do? Oh, quick note, I'm on a new show, Peripheral, on Amazon. Go watch, man. I can't even explain it yet. It's complicated. I'm on episode 2.
I thought you mean like you on one, like you actually, part of it, acting in it. I was like, okay.
You know, I was gonna say, like, he's in the new show. He's acting now.
I wish, man.
Oh, you just putting a new suggestion out there. I would say this the last time I was suggested to watch some on Amazon. They ain't turned. I might pass on.
What show was that?
It was a movie. It was a documentary.
Oh, okay. Was it from your fellow NBA player?
Yes, it was from.
I was thinking the same thing.
I ain't watched that one. I ain't gonna watch what Kurt put either. I'm gonna keep that same energy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, where the Christmas gifts coming from, bro?
I'm buying. I don't care what's going on in that warehouse. The price is too low. Shipping too fast.
So, alright, and if this is your first time rocking with us, man, this is the place where we're talking about sports, current events, and things in between the events of black culture. Catch us every Wednesday. That's on your favorite platform, whether it's on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, and join us on that. You know what I'm saying? Also comment, engage with us on there. If you're on the audio side only or the podcast side only, check us out. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Google Podcasts, Anchor, all those places. Wherever you get your favorite podcast from, go ahead and check us out there. And if you're not there, let us know so we can go ahead and get ourselves on there. So you don't have to go nowhere. You just do it just automatically. I think that's what they call it, automatically. And then again, check it out. Check us out on the social media side of things. We do have Instagram, Twitter for now. Man, Twitter, Elon keep doing stuff, man. But Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Grindhouse, NTWK. We also have a Reddit. We also have a Discord, which is a community-based group, so you can come through and chit-chat about sports, light banter, safe space, and also some off-topic things as well. And that's at Grindhouse Network on Discord. It's social through domain. All those links are in the description boxes and some of it's on the screen, all that stuff. So again, make sure you check it out. And finally, I think that's it. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
No, that's it. I think you got all the points.
Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into the biggest sports news of the world this week. Brittney Griner, who has been detained wrongfully in Russia, of all places, been detained since February 17th, but she finally had a chance to come home after being detained for only possessing less than a gram of some cannabis oil that was prescribed to her in Arizona, or from Arizona, while she was in Arizona. And of course, she's there doing a job, entertaining the Russians, playing basketball, getting paid for that. And of course, this happened on the way back from Russia and kind of getting detained. And this was after the Russian and Ukraine battle or war or whatever you want to call it began. So, again, this kind of came off as more of a political play to kind of hold an American prisoner, a high-profile American prisoner at that. So, but yeah, the U.S. government has finally found a way to get her released through a prisoner swap where they had to trade a known arms dealer, Russian known arms dealer. And so got a lot of praise, applaud from some side of people, some groups. Obviously, a lot of sports athletes have said a lot of praise, happy that she finally has made it home. And, we've also heard some controversy, some people who have criticized the move, and we know kind of what that stems from, and what we had to give up to get Brittney Griner back stateside. So let's just start with this, man. Was the action of what it cost to get Brittney Griner back home was that kind of a I should say, was it worth it? I'll just say it like that. I don't want to say it in a disrespectful way, but I do want to say it in a like, was that price too much to pay to trade a known arms dealer for, you know, an American who was, you know, wrongfully detained? I'll start with you, Deuce.
Y'all seen that movie, Lord of War, by Nicolas Cage, or with Nicolas Cage? Older movie.
I recall it. I didn't remember seeing it. Lord of War, I think he said.
Lord of
Oh
War.
yeah. He was an arms dealer. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was sad. But yeah.
You know who the inspiration of his role is? That's based off of Victor. Yeah, wow. That's based off the dude we traded. Yeah, I didn't know that until recently, man. The guy they called the Merchant of Death. So your specific question was it worth it? Which is complicated, right? Because putting values on people's lives and stuff like that. When preface it by saying, we're glad that Brittney's home. We're glad that she's safe. But for national security, international security, it's a trade that I don't think any other administration would make. But politics being the way it is in America, the pressure that the Biden administration was feeling, and with it being, let me check I only have my watch, but election season's coming up, right? It's coming up soon. 2024 is right around the corner. And remember, Biden said, if you don't vote for him, you're not black, right? And it was a black community that was the loudest voice in the room to get Brittney back. And Biden needs that black vote because he's been losing it lately if you look at certain sites, certain polls. But back to your question, man, glad Brittney's back, but it was a tough trade, man, to give up an international arms dealer who, this guy will sell arms to the rebels, and he'll sell weapons to the government. He has no allegiance, and he has access to military-grade weapons from Russia, man, from surface-to-air missiles, those mini nukes that they're using over in Russia, to like all types of automatic machine guns, missile launchers, whatever. Like big, heavy stuff, man. That's why he made it to the top of the food chain as an arms dealer. Because anything Russia has, he can sell it. So that's tough, man. But security-wise, it doesn't look like a good play, man.
Gotcha. That's why I asked that question, because it was going to be a very complex answer. It's going to split your more, I don't want to say more, but just your decision making, because you're leaning one way in certain aspects and then leaning another way. Zion, how you feel?
I don't know if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now, but I feel like the explanation was fair. I think it's gonna have to be a wait and see approach, but basically they were saying, I think he had like a 25-year sentence or something like that, and he already served about 10 or 15 of it. Given that, for obviously like Brittney Griner, like, okay, she may or may not have committed some crime in Russia, but I think it was kind of overblown. It's kind of a fraud, sham trial. Like, I don't think she ever had a real fair shot. I think it was politically motivated with the war and everything. So getting her back safely and not in conditions that were described, I think is very important. And you know what the administration is saying in terms of national security is, like, you take somebody like that out the game for 10 years, the whole landscape has changed. You're not just going to jump back in here and be Nino Brown. So he served a pretty significant amount of time that may not be enough for people who fell victim to him selling weapons. But he served a significant amount of time, and he may not be as big a threat just because he's been out the game so long. They got a new big fish selling weapons already, so I'm comfortable with the decision made at this point. We'll see if it's a mistake in the future, though.
Okay. Kev, how do you feel?
I agree with that. I'm right in the middle of both of those statements, because when Kurt was saying what he was saying, I was like, yeah, it's tough to make that kind of decision, especially from a national security perspective. But then the immediate question that followed up in my head is what Reg just mentioned, like at this point in time, once, you know, in any organizations, once the head of the snake gets cut off, somebody is always going to come and try to fill that position, to fill that role. It doesn't stay cut off. So at the end of the day, is he still a threat is the real question, not what he was doing in the past. If he's still an immediate threat, then of course that would be a horrible decision to make. But those facts aren't really out there. So at this point, I would have to take on the perspective of what Reg put out there, which is he probably ain't someone who's gonna come in the game right now and dominate like he used to. And let's be honest, arms dealing is gonna happen with or without that dude being president. It's happening. It's definitely happening. So at the end of the day, we know Brittney wasn't supposed to be where she was at. 9 years, I think they charged her for 9 years for less than a gram. It was weak, super weak. So, you know, Biden did what he did to get her home, but at the same time, you mentioned election coming up. I don't know if this was a good move, honestly, from that perspective, because it's a huge divide. You see, right? Twitter's going back and forth on whether or not he should have made that decision, and he's threatened the security of our nation. But I think the question goes back to, is that dude still a threat? And if he is, bad decision. At this point, I don't expect for him to be. So at the end of the day, he needed her home. Glad to have her back, and that's how I'm gonna sit with it.
Yeah. I think that's also interesting when we talk about the political landscape. I feel like even in my lifetime, I could just remember, like, whenever we got an American home, I just felt like we all kind of celebrated. It was just like,
Yeah.
you know, we got him back. Like, it was never like this guy or that guy. You know, even what's his name, the Senator John McCain, like, he was a POW. Like, he was like, oh, like, you was out there and you was held captive. Like, there was some kind of respect or some kind of like, damn, we're sorry that happened to you and we're glad you came back safe, regardless of who you were or what you was affiliated with. So it's a little crazy to see it change so much so soon.
Well, I guess even back then, though, like, the U.S. policy was, we're not gonna do a president swap. We're not gonna do money. I remember, I think a plane or something was hijacked in Iran like decades ago, and they sent in SF or Delta, I can't remember which one, to go recover the hostages. So it was stuff like that back in the day, but it's a new era, right? Technology has evolved. You're not gonna sneak any type of special forces team into Russia to free Brittney, right? So it kind of goes back to your point. It's a new era, so you got to play by the new rules, and maybe this is one of the avenues to do it.
Yeah. I mean, there've been prisoner swaps. I don't know about, like you were saying, the hard line used to be you don't negotiate with terrorists, but like I feel like I've heard prisoner swaps throughout the year, and whenever we get an American back, any means, I just felt like it was across the board celebrated.
Yeah, I don't ever recall it being such a divisive move politically or whatever. But, you know, again, just like what you guys said, you know, prior to before you started going into a deeper dive about what your thoughts were. Yeah, happy that Brittney Griner's back. Happy that, you know, she obviously wasn't there on anything more so than a business trip, and, you know, she was caught in the crossfire. It's kind of like a very innocent bystander. And so, like, that was really not we understood it was more motivated by other means versus, you know, them really caring about the law of the land. So, you know, so I do understand with that. I do understand that, and I do sympathize with that. Along those lines, though, as far as, like, you know, what the trade-off was, you know, yeah, he's been in jail, like you said, for 10 years almost. I feel like they did a national security assessment to see. I mean, look, they've been talking allegedly. I'm not in the building, but, you know, they've been talking pretty regularly, and I think they also wanted to get the other guy, the one who was accused for espionage, Paul Whelan, as well. But Russia hasn't been able to, or hasn't been willing to budge because they feel like he has state secrets and whatnot, whatever. But, you know, I feel like they've been talking, and I feel like, yeah, this is the new landscape of things where it's like, well, you know, this may be the new play. This may be the new thing we do, is holding people, foreigners, as collateral for bargaining chips in the event that, you know, Americans kind of get, you know, caught up for whatever reason. And so, you know, obviously Russia is not a friendly ally. If anything, it was just one of those tense situations where, like, y'all both in different parts of the game, but y'all both got live on the same block. There's always gonna be tension there. And so at this point, like, you know, it's kind of what it was. And so, you know, that the relationship is not really good compared to China, where we was able to get LaMelo Ball back for, you know, stealing, actually doing a crime in the country, right? Yeah. So, again, that was something that I feel that it's just going to become the new norm, and they probably learned a lot from it, kind of understand the negotiation process, and they're probably better equipped in the future to continue to do that. But again, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to get anyone back, and I'm sure if this guy is still going to get back into those kinds of situations where he's arms dealing again, well, everyone already knows his face, his name. He's already in the system, and I think it'll be kind of harder to continue to have that reign. And I feel like it'll be harder, easier to capture him again if he's going to continue to be that kind of figure in that space. But like Kev said, it's been 2 years. Probably, look, someone else is running the things now. I don't know if he's going to just get plugged right back into the system in that sense. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, man, it's kind of tricky too, because we talk about being an arms dealer, and it's still treating the problem from a symptom perspective, because at the end of the day, those arms are being made, those arms are being developed, and are you taking action to stop the manufacturing and stop the creation of these arms? But you're all gung-ho about stopping the people that are dealing these arms. People are not going to make things to have them sit on a shelf. That's never the goal. It's always going to be made so it can be sold. And we know there's a lot of money in the game, so all y'all out there who support war and all that good stuff, think about it from that perspective, man. These wars ain't supported off of nothing. Like, there's money to be made, there's arms to be sold. Somebody's going to be selling them. That's the middleman at the end of the day.
Yep.
I mean, and going to Kev on your point, man, talking about arms dealing, let's be real about it, man. Every time the U.S. government leaves like a country that we've, what word I want to say?
Established a presence in.
Thank you. Yes. Every time we do that, we leave behind so much crap, man. There have been many reports that said that the weapons that ISIS was using against us were our old weapons that we gave to them when they were rebels fighting against Saddam Hussein, right? So that happens a lot of times, right? Saddam Hussein was somebody, that whole Ba'ath regime, we propped them up to fight, to be a counterweight against Iran, and then we end up fighting against the same people we funded and propped up and gave weapons and training to, because they know they're automatically a threat now, right? So to your point, there's always going to be weapon dealers. Yeah.
Osama bin Laden was another.
Yeah. So don't ever mistake the fact that, because America be giving a lot of arms to a lot of countries and a lot of militias to do, their bidding, because it fits our agenda at the time. So, like, let's not make it seem like this one guy has been supplying all the underworld and all of the, militias with arms.
He did Tony Stark.
Yeah, when we're the main ones manufacturing it, a U.S. being the main ones manufacturing it and selling it, and sometimes giving it for free if they ain't got the money. So
look at what's going on in the Ukraine right now. Like, we're not recovering all those weapons, and you're not going to tell me all those weapons are getting in the hands of the good guys, right? So
and they ain't gonna give it back to us either. Like, all right, these are all the unused weapons.
Return.
Yeah.
So
that problem is bigger.
It's always bigger.
Just to keep it holistic, though, one of the only kind of reservations I had about the whole situation is nobody should be unlawfully detained, but I was kind of hesitant. I was like, well, she did have the whole domestic violence thing going on, but when I looked into it a little bit, if you didn't know, I think a few years back she had gotten to like a domestic violence situation with her wife. But when I looked into it, as soon as it happened, she took ownership. She admitted wrongdoing, said that's not how we should be moving, communicating, or interacting. And I don't remember if it was voluntary. I think she went to go get some therapy, counseling about anger management and all that. So, I mean, she did all the things she was supposed to do. So just another example of how, like, she can be a role model. Like, people make mistakes, but it's how you kind of recover from them. So I think it's a really good person and somebody that deserved the second chance.
And this is gonna come off kind of jokey, but it's a real thing, right? Brittney has a chance to make. First, she has to go through a lot of talk to counselors, get physical therapy, mental therapy, all this, man, because we don't know how those Russian jails are. I know. I think in my mind, if I had to pick one, I'd rather go to jail here than in Russia, right? For sure. So we don't know what kind of condition she was in. Once again, we're glad she's home. But taking a step back from the whole mental wellness thing, come on. Somebody's going to write a movie off of this. Somebody's going to write a movie off of this. And when they do, I hope Brittney gets money off of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have
don't
to.
Go Hulu.
You know,
Don't go Hulu. Don't go Hulu with it. I don't know.
Mike Tyson didn't get money off of his.
Nope.
That's why they're making the movie with Jamie Foxx now, so he can get money off of it. Mike ain't getting any money.
Okay.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brittney's home. That's good. Welcome back. And, you know, that threw the question out in the air. And I think a lot of people came back who were also in the WNBA saying over half or about half are still considering to go play overseas, you know, in spite of what happened to Brittney.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what does that mean for like a lot of, what does that mean for the WNBA? That their players, they look, what does that say? Because you put yourself in these kind of situations where you can, you know, China or, you know, places where there's strained relations and just to make money, right? What does that really say about the WNBA and how they take care of their players and things like that? I know you go for it, Zion.
I was gonna say I think it's embarrassing. I don't know if we could put it squarely on the WNBA, but it is embarrassing that our players have to go somewhere else to get compensated fairly.
What's embarrassing about it though? I don't understand the embarrassing part, honestly.
I mean, we're supposed to be, you know, we support women. We're supposed to be all this progressiveness and you know, a leader in so many aspects. But, you know, we sit here and our media says Russia doesn't have this, their economy is that because they do this, that, and the third. But our players go over there to get paid. They say all these human rights stuff and all that. They go to China to get paid and in some cases be treated fairly. You know, so in that regards, I think it's embarrassing. And the reason I say it's not just on the WNBA is viewership. Like, how much revenue is the WNBA getting? Are they just keeping all the money for themselves, or is there just not money? Is it?
There's no money.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no money. Yeah, the NBA is propping up the WNBA. The NBA has a stipend that goes towards the WNBA because they see it as a long-term project. They see it as a way to funnel more fans into the WNBA and the NBA. So that's the number one thing. That's why I don't see it as embarrassing. I want to say embarrassing because, I mean, officially the WNBA is a failed, I don't want to say failed, it's a struggling startup, right? Even though it's been around for a long time, they still haven't turned a profit. You know, it took Uber, I think it took Corona to turn a profit, right? I don't know if they're turning profits now anymore. I see it as just getting the bag, man. I think it's a crazy thing because I can't think of any other profession where you would go overseas to like a restricted area to get more money, right? You know, like, I don't know, when I was a fraud investigator for Wachovia, I'm not going to go over to the Bank of China because they're paying me, they're going to pay me $1 million to go over there. I'm going to go over there to China or to North Korea and make this bag. No, I'm going to stay here and probably find another job and pay a little bit more money. But with athletes, that's all they got, right? Especially when they make it to the top of the top. WNBA is the top. They can go on any basketball court in America and ball out with these dudes out here, right? So they put everything into that, and I think it leaves them with a limited skill set or puts them in a position to look at bags overseas. I still think it's a good idea. I think hopefully they'll just do more research in the countries they're going to, whatever vetting process they got to do, get the bag. And get the bag until fans start filling these stands in these WNBA games. That's why I just give a little pushback to embarrassing because they're still there, right? The WNBA is like one NBA chairman away from getting cut. Adam Silver likes it. He's gonna keep funding it. When he steps down, somebody else comes up. They can look at it and say, "Hey, we got to streamline." Elon Musk cut it, right? So I wouldn't say embarrassing. I think it's the showing is nice, is good, but get the bag. Just do your homework, do your research.
I mean, embarrassing in terms of the climate, like not the like I said, I don't think it's squarely the WNBA's fault, but like, are they able to turn a profit in China? I remember you guys were saying in Russia it's kind of funded by oligarchs, but are these other countries somehow profitable? And if so, why not here? That's the part that I find embarrassing.
That's a question too, right?
We're supposed to have the most disposable income. We're supposed to have this great economy. We're supposed to be empowering women and treating people more fairly. If you look at other soccer programs across the world, you can see which countries don't really allow women to pursue those things, and you can see they don't really excel. So if we're sending the women's soccer team, they're very highly decorated, right? When we send the WNBA team, the talent level there, so obviously something's going on at the school level that we're turning out talent. So why, when it gets to the professional level, all of a sudden there's just like this void? Yeah, I think that's the part that, to me, like the infrastructure, not the WNBA as, oh, what they're doing is embarrassing, but like that disconnect, like as us as a country, that to me I think is embarrassing.
Yeah.
See, it's part of the reason why they get, like we've been saying, get the bag. It's part of the reason why they would get the bag, because they're coming from the WNBA, coming from a system where we know a lot of talented players are, and just because, you know, you come from that environment, just like any other NBA player, we know, hey, the place you want to be, even if you are overseas, is to get to the US and get to the NBA. Is the other countries outside of the US looking at it like that, like, hey, we can get a lot of good talent from the WNBA and we're willing to pay them for that talent? So sometimes you got to go outside of where you're from in order to get more. And I'm wondering if just that in itself is what is an incentive.
That's exactly what it is. Look at Dwight Howard over in Taiwan getting accolades and getting a bag. Like, they see like, oh, okay, we can get these WNBA players over here. Exactly what you said. The talent is there. You know what I mean? Like, we go and poach the best of the best, but we not just taking any and everybody off the Cameroon team. You get that one Joel Embiid, you get that one Antetokounmpo, and they're the best players in the world.
Yeah, I think another part.
I see what you're saying. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say another part of that was just to add on to the structure of in WNBA is part of that. I think is also the CBA that they do have agreed upon with the WNBA players and stuff as well. I saw an interview. I forget the lady who was one of the NBA players who was playing, or WNBA players who was talking about it. But they'll talk about how, like, for example, they don't get revenue from their jersey sales. So, you know, just something they say, you know, they don't want to make the same amount of money that LeBron's making, obviously, right? Like, because the money's not there, but they want to get the same level of revenue sharing that these.
From what though?
I mean, okay, so they still do have TV deals, right? I don't know how. I mean, obviously, you probably can catch like the LA games in LA, like the Sparks in LA. ESPN does show some games, even though like more often than not I forget about it. Well, I mean, the commercials don't hit me at these rapid pace where I'm just like, oh, they're gonna be playing, you know, and it's always like these really awkward times too, like, you know, 1 in the afternoon during football season. I'm like, I'm gonna watch football because, you know, it's already there, already has a plant there. So now if they did it during baseball season, I would definitely watch it over baseball, but they don't play during baseball season.
Yeah, that would be perfect, man.
Or, you know, or the summertime.
I guess
when there's no sports.
I guess my question goes back to, I heard that comment from I forgot who it was that said that. But if the company is not turning a profit, where is the money coming from to pay the employees?
That's what I'm
right, because you got to pay.
The jersey split, like, you can give them a jersey split. Are jerseys even selling? Like, cause y'all telling me, right, with the CBA, they're not getting the jersey splits, but y'all also telling me the WNBA is not turning profit, with withholding revenue from the players. So it just points to me like the money is the problem. Like, the reason we have all these lucrative negotiations that the NBA PA can do is because there's money, right? Hey, there's a lot of money here. Let's split it up differently. You in a situation where it's like, ain't no money, y'all still getting paid.
Yeah.
True.
and I don't understand. I mean, maybe I'm naive or ignorant to it, but I would, to me, to get more viewership, I would definitely, just like how they do in high school where they have JV and they have varsity, and I don't want to equate WNBA to JV, but what I mean by that is, let's couple it with NBA games. Let's couple it with the All-Star game. So that, like, people already understand that, like, Tuesdays, or, well, it was Thursdays, now it's Tuesdays. Tuesdays are NBA on TNT. You can start off with the WNBA game before you do your doubleheader for, you know, the NBA games, or split it, the one WNBA, one NBA game. And the panel's talking about it. Everyone kind of like chimes in to listen to Charles Barkley talk about, you know, the aces or whatever the case may be, right? I mean, there's ways to kind of like you already have a foundation, you already have a fan base. The NBA was struggling too for 30 years, right? Like, they didn't start making profit until they merged with the ABA, and they got all those high flyers and all that showmanship that they probably like dismissed in the first place because most of them were black and wasn't trying to put them in, bring them into the NBA. So you know, that was what kind of triggered a lot of that. Was like the All-Star game. There was no All-Star game before the NBA merger. So, you know, that they bought that because they knew that they were starting to sell, and that's kind of how they progressed. They were losing money too. So, you know, they just need to find a way to market women, and maybe it's not the same way that you market men. You market it a different way. They're their own, you know, league, right? So you just have to find a different way. But, you know,
I mean, I like that. They can do some creative stuff like that mid-season tournament. That's talking about adding to the NBA. Add that to the WNBA.
I think that came from the WNBA. I think some of the stuff starts because they have the Commissioner's Cup.
In the WNBA?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. All right. So, it goes back to what Chris was saying. Advertising in a different way. I mean, I also think that, I was thinking, listen to Chris, you said that the NBA wasn't making money for a while. I think it's also just the market too, man. Like, I Googled the top 5 sports in the world, right? Soccer. Big football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's big football. It's big outside the US, man, but people in the US don't really mess with soccer or football.
Unless we're in the tournament. Only if we're in the tournament.
Yeah, right. It's low level, right? And then I looked up, right? Table tennis is a big sport. There's no table tennis leagues here, right? But it's big. Cricket is the international game. Huge. There's not a single cricket team in the U.S., man. Nope. So what I'm saying is, you got to look at your product. You got to look at the audience. They can go overseas because there's demand for their services over there. There's demand for the game, right?
Correct.
Unfortunately, maybe the demand for the game here doesn't meet the supply.
But I mean, it's obviously it's not the game, because NCAA is huge, right? That makes money.
But what about
that's a different product?
But what about
basketball?
Women?
That's college.
Same boat. That's what I'm saying. They have
that's a different product though.
They have different funding issues because, like you know, like things like, what is it, kayaking and stuff. They don't bring in money. It's the same pot.
I understand, but
hey, we got the big football team, the big basketball team, men's football, men's basketball, and you take all that money and you can fund the women's this, that, and the third. That don't happen. Like, it's kind of happening with the NBA. There's some initiatives and partnerships, but it's not wholly outright. We take all this money, split it in the pot. So that's where that becomes an issue. But I'm saying, at the end of the day, there is an appetite for basketball more than just the NBA. Like, I don't watch G League, but there's people watching G League too. Like,
it's on NBA TV. Right. It was on NBA TV today. Oh, the Memphis Hustle versus the Lakeland, whoever they were. Magic.
Whoever,
I don't know.
Exactly.
Lakeland.
But I'm just saying, there is appetite of people who are willing to watch, because people watch high school basketball games. Like, there is an appetite for basketball outside of just the NBA. So I don't think it's an appetite thing.
Yeah,
it could be still an appetite.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it still could be, because collegiate and high school, like you mentioned, it has a different following. Collegiate spirit, like those students and the rivalries at that level. When you talk about cities now, the cities already have the NBA teams, and that's who they're looking at. So it still could be an appetite thing, because when you go into that different space, you're now talking about a different market, a different group of people that you need to get behind you. Whereas in college and high school, there's no question who is in that city, who in that district that's supporting that high school, who is supporting that collegiate team. It's a spirit thing. Everyone is, that
It's the local
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
It's just kind of tough to palate. There's just like, okay, they go on to be a WNBA player, and you're just like, stop watching.
Yeah.
The high
that's
school
where
anymore.
But
that's where
It is tough. It is tough.
But and so this is my thing, and I hear what you guys are saying. I think part of it is that the investors just do have an inherent bias towards men's sports in basketball versus women's sports in basketball. And this is why I say that March Madness, we understand, makes sense. They get all this money. The college men gets all these amenities. That same tournament for women's side, they be out here like, yo, this is all we get. Like, I don't want to say it was last year. I want to say probably it was before COVID. I want to say 2019, 2018. Someone, pointed out the discrepancy of amenities, just locker room stuff. That
I felt like it might have been last year. I remember this.
Was it last year? Yeah.
I remember. I think it was
It was recent.
I remember
It
the
was
bubble. It was a bubble. I think it was a bubble.
I don't.
It could have been the
That's what hit my radar. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
It was my radar, the bubble.
So,
But I do recall them complaining like we weren't having facilities, proper access to locker rooms, all this stuff. I do remember that.
yeah. So there was that one thing. So obviously none of the players are getting paid. Obviously, and the NBA, the NCAA is making tons of money. The schools are still making tons of money. Like, Oregon women and Oregon men are good teams. Both of them are good teams. Those programs should be funded properly. But anyways, that's one thing I want to say. And then the second thing I want to say is that even the appetite, I saw it today. ESPN mentioned, and I saw it on Bleacher Report too. LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony's son are playing in a nationally televised high school game. So to me, what that means is that there's a lot of push to get people to watch these individuals play, and so much so that they're carving out ESPN First Take, carving out Bleacher Report, blah blah blah, just to advertise, help with the advertising. I just don't see that level of effort when it comes to pushing WNBA.
Yeah. So there's a problem with equity then. Pretty much is what we're saying.
Hey, the playoffs are going on. The finals are going on. Hey, the commissioner. I don't hear none of that.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I think we heard that though. Maybe not to the degree that you're talking about, Chris. I remember we did a podcast when I think the WNBA championship was going on. And we heard a commercial and we're talking about the pre-pod. Yeah, let's watch the game. We all forgot to watch the game.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I forgot. I don't know what time.
I probably mentioned it because I actually, for the last 2 seasons, I got the WNBA League Pass and I saw finals games.
Okay,
I was talking about it because I was talking about how the Aces was just a dominant team the whole season, and then the Mystics.
Yeah.
I think the only woman with the shoe deal, what's her name? But she was good. The same team that has.
Is it Candace?
No, it's probably
Is it Candace Parker?
No, I forget her name. It's a tall, skinny white girl.
Oh, Della Dunn?
No, Della Dunn is on the Aces, I think.
Yeah.
This is like, I can't remember her name, but she's balling though.
Yeah.
But Candace Parker actually didn't make it back to the finals. That was one of the storylines. She took offense to the coach, got all excited. It was like, yeah, we got her out. We got Candace Parker out.
Hey man, that just means that means
that's
you
what
that
it
good.
is.
Yeah, that means you that good. Like, how we got him out.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
You see
it's just like
Morocco.
if you were to get Jordan or LeBron out,
Yeah.
they were gassed about it, but she kind of took offense. But I watched it. The playoffs were actually pretty good. I feel like it was kind of decided like because you knew who were the teams, and once the ones that got eliminated, you're like, okay, we serious.
Yeah. So, anything else I want to add on the Brittney Griner WNBA?
Hey, we're glad she was back.
Yeah.
She made her first dunk in practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
I
thing
saw
she
that.
did.
Yeah.
After picking up some chicken. All right.
Hey, I ain't mad at it.
Just playing. I think she had a barbecue. I think she had barbecue at the.
Yeah, they did.
I
Say
would.
military
Oh,
station.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope she had some Pepto-Bismol after that too, because that's a long time to go without barbecue and jump back on barbecue.
Hey man, hey, man. You accept the consequences of bad eating, man. Sometimes you gotta do it. So,
Begin.
so let's move on back to the NBA. The thing that we just talked about, like, is get all this media attention, right? The Pelicans, man, they've topped the Western Conference. Surprisingly, they won 8 straight games after starting off pretty slow, man. And they're doing it all without Brandon Ingram. It's been all Zion and on some days McCollum, because McCollum's not even been playing all the games. But Trey Murphy stepped up, man.
Alvarado.
Alfredo. I'm just calling him Alfredo.
Wow.
So,
Hey, man.
It's not a fight. It's
Sure,
because you got the sauce. It's because you got the sauce.
he got the sauce, man.
man.
Highly caloric sauce, man. You know what I'm saying? They've all, like I said, been knocking off teams, and they ran into the Phoenix Suns twice. And if you guys don't know about the Pelicans and Suns, the Suns are the ones who knocked out the Pels in the first round of the playoffs last season. And so, no, I'm sure there's a little bit of bad blood there, but the Pelicans waxed them twice, and I believe it was the first game or the second game. I can't remember which one it was, but the Zion had a nice parting gift, as you
That
would
was
call
game
it.
1, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was game 1, but I couldn't recall. He had a nice parting gift as the closing seconds were counting down. He took it upon himself after the game was already decided to entertain the fans by doing a 360 windmill dunk, and that got Payne and others all riled up and saying that that's poor sportsmanship and blah blah blah. You can't do that, can't do this. Wow. So
Except when we do it.
Yeah.
So let me just throw this out here, man. Zion, was he wrong? Was it Bush League? Was it poor taste for him to dunk when the game was already decided? Kev, how do you feel?
And I feel like everything you said laid the argument right out there. He entertained the fans. The game was over. They took him out in the playoffs. He wasn't able to play. He got some pent up,
Frustration.
just frustrations.
Yeah.
It was a nice gift, send off gift to exclamation mark in the game. Everything you said just laid out the argument, which is why I would like stand by and say, good job, young brother, good job. I was entertained by it. I appreciated it. I understand that they might say it's poor sportsmanship, but when is he going to try to do a 360 dunk as a coach? If you try to do that during the regular time where we're trying to be on a tight game, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Go up with 2 hands, go up strong and put it in the hole. Don't be trying to stunt while we're trying to win a game. After we won the game, go ahead, have some fun. The game is meant to be fun. Y'all taking it too serious because y'all losing. That's on y'all, your feelings. I apologize and I don't apologize at the same time. Sorry, not sorry. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Like Zion. That sounds like Zion post game.
Zion, how you feel?
Oh man, to answer your original question, was it poor sportsmanlike? Should he have done it? All that? No, he shouldn't have done it. It was poor sportsmanship, all that. But I was here for it. It was entertaining. Do it again. I want more games to be like that. Pull up from half court and shoot the 3. Whatever you want to do, man. Like, it's supposed to be a fun game. Obviously, they were still trying. I feel like they still had starters on the floor. From what I recall when this happened, because I actually caught the end of this game. I was just like watching basketball. And they tried to do a pass. Zion got in that passing line and he broke free. Nobody's around him. He's hyped. He was already juiced the whole time when he came back from his break. And he just had that same energy. He's just like, I'm gonna go ahead and just arm, leg, and hoop. He just did it. And I'm not mad at it at all. I feel like, to me, if anything, like, sure, maybe it wasn't perfect sportsmanship. Maybe he could have handled it better. I feel like the reaction from the opposing team was actually more unsportsmanlike and a little bit more over the top. I think when we talk about these codes and unwritten rules, I think what's more important is, when we talk about Pat Bev dove at Westbrook's knee and took him out, stuff like that, sliding the foot under. These are the things that you should have that kind of, vigor towards. Like, somebody dunking while I was losing. Like, y'all grown, getting paid millions of dollars. Move on. Fans enjoy it. Like that's y'all doing too much. Your protest is too much to me. If you wanted to call it out after the game and say, hey, you know, like the same way Zion addressed it after the game, he wasn't trying to fight nobody. He wasn't running over the benches. It's like that reaction was too much for me.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
I like
okay. All right. Deuce, do you feel the same? Are you on this bandwagon of his song?
Man, it's entertainment. I'm with my brothers on this. It's entertainment, man. This is what we watch the game for. And you know, come to think about it, this is one of the weaker moments. When I go back and think about iconic moments in NBA, I think about Shaq posterizing Chris Dudley, man, dunking on him, pushing him down on the ground, throwing a ball at him, right? Moments, man. I think about AI, boop, boop, 3, shaking Lou out his jaws, man, stepping over him. There's posters that this dude was stepping over him, man. Steph Curry busting one of those demoralizing threes in your face, shimmying up the court, man, pumping up the crowd. Ain't nobody crying. Reggie Miller killing the Knicks, going while he's knocking them out the playoffs, man. These are the moments that stand out in our minds, man. Zion doing a 360 dunk at the end of a regulation game. Please, man. Phoenix, man, pull your diapers up, bro. Pull your diapers up. That's nothing.
Wow.
Was there even a call on that
won't even
Shaq
remember
dunk?
that.
I remember that Shaq dunk. It was just over the top for.
No, that was fair
He
play.
pushed him, and then he threw the ball at him. I was like, "What are we watching?"
Man, you can't throw the ball at all right now. If you throw the ball, that's an automatic cheat.
On LeBron dunking on Terry the Jet.
Jason Terry.
Not
Jason Terry.
Jason Terry.
Yeah.
Those moments, man.
Oh,
Phoenix needs to put on the boxers, man, and pull up the boxers.
Yep.
This is nothing.
Oh.
We're not gonna remember this playoff season, man. This is nothing.
yeah, we
Good
know.
entertainment for the fans. But
It would have been forgotten by the next game if run on the court and start crying.
So,
honestly, yeah.
well, this is very wrong, very disrespectful of the game, and you know you didn't need to do it. You know you don't need to pour salt on the wound. But you know what? Like, hey, I agree with Kendrick Perkins. Hey, if you don't want them doing that, then you shouldn't have let them get ahead like they got ahead. Number one, and number two, that should at the very least make it personal, right? I feel like the Pelicans took it personal that they got knocked out of the playoffs. Even though they're under the AC, you weren't supposed to be there. Like, you got there on a, ancillary ticket. Like, oh, fine, like, you wasn't locked in, but you got in, and that's fair. No one had you pegged to come out of the first round, and you lost, and you took it personal. I love it about the team that they took that personally. Now I need the Phoenix Suns to have taken that personally and came back stronger and be like, no, you're not doing this no more. Now now exactly they just lost. Like, bro, y'all don't even have that grit, that it factor, that toughness, the whatever it was that made Pelicans get up in the morning to make sure they did that to you. You did not have that, and so I don't know what that's about. But I do think it was wrong. But guess what? When someone does you wrong, what you do? You make sure you get even, and they didn't get even. So you had your chance.
I ain't subscribing to that, but I hear you.
So
I think also, like, not to rat hole on that too much, I wouldn't focus on the seeding because they had a very late season trade with McCollum that gave them that little extra push to get in the playoffs. So they probably felt like they had a good shot, and the Suns put an end to their run. So
They played well.
Yeah. So that might be why they took it so personally, because they felt like
And the national media was thinking the Suns are gonna sweep them or give them a gentleman sweep, and they played them tough.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they got 6 games out of it, but that comes with the territory, man. So, and yeah, they did start off. Well, they started off slow. Yeah, McCollum gave them the spark. So yeah, I mean, they're number 1 now, man. So is this? So I was gonna ask this question, but I guess you kind of already started off with the dudes, man. What's the most disrespectful form of etiquette that has been broached or transgressed upon? Obviously the stepping over someone is disrespectful. that one's out there. Mm-hmm. The Meta World Peace, the clothesline.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
I feel like Timberwolves having way too much fun with Westbrook struggling shooting is up there too. They was having a lot of fun.
The Sacramento Kings did it too, man. The Sacramento, they played like Ice Ice Baby every time he shot. Up another brick, man. Anything the most disrespectful.
I mean, there's been a lot, man. The leg pull, Jordan pull, y'all, that's not disrespectful. Not breaking the code. Okay.
Just stop it, bro.
Okay.
Yo, it wasn't meta time people shoelaces at the free throw line.
I don't know, but
Back in the day.
It doesn't sound unlike him. I don't remember.
I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's fair. Yo, keep your shoes tied.
I keep thinking about that clip. You remember in The Last Dance, man, they showed the clip, Rodman was checking Karl Malone, and he kept tripping them up down the court. They kept tripping over each other.
Yeah.
But everybody Rodman checked, it was a disrespectful thing that he did.
Yeah.
I can't think about nowadays.
Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron's ear.
That was disrespectful.
Right.
This is obviously pre-COVID because they would have shut this down.
I never was disrespectful. He was just being a pest.
He's being a pest. Yeah. Pat Bev does some
What about
disrespectful stuff.
What about Donovan Mitchell not passing to Rudy Gobert when he was on his own team?
Hey man, that was a good play call.
Number one.
There you go.
It's a good play.
When they brought that up, I couldn't even get mad.
So
Trey Young was disrespectful when they made the 4th seed. And then when they took out New York when they made it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's my favorite villain.
Yeah.
That's his whole, I'm gonna say he's a villain. That's his whole persona right there.
I don't feel like he was disrespectful though. I think he just played a good game. I don't feel like he was going out his way. He was just on him. All right, I'll take it. He wasn't like, gesturing or doing things that
He was just in the crowd.
He was doing a little posturing.
No, but I mean to players. Like, I don't feel like he was doing anything like
No, not to the players. It was to the fans.
breaking the code. Not breaking the code. I feel like he was just being a heel.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons. The post game, Ben Simmons. His last
That's
game was
disrespectful to say.
I think it was the truth. I think Doc just told the truth.
Oh, not
Doc or Embiid. Doc or Embiid.
How was that? He just told the truth.
I feel like Ben was a little bit sensitive with Embiid because I feel like Embiid was just literally being a historian. This is what happened. This is what led to this. This is what led to that. I feel like Ben was being a little sensitive there. The Doc Rivers, like, you think you can win with Ben? I don't know. You gonna have to ask Ben that question. Like that shit was a little disrespectful.
That's an honest answer, though, man.
If you don't know, you don't know, man. He didn't know. He wasn't sure. He was confused about whether he could or not.
If you got an old lady and be like, "Hey, man, you think her cooking good?" Be like, "I don't know." You don't have to like. There's honest answers and there's time and place.
You're right, but does it ascend to disrespectful? Is the question. That's the question.
It's gonna disrespect.
Pat Bev is disrespectful. With he pushed Chris Paul in the back.
That one.
When there's a timeout, when people know there's a timeout coming, he's diving, messing people up.
But even when they asked him if he was like excited to be on the Lakers team or something like that, I forgot what the context of the question was, but he was just like, "I made the playoffs last year." That was disrespectful.
I think the question was leading towards some type of like, you set yourself up for that one.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul be disrespectful too. I mean, he be spitting on people. He be hitting folks in the jewels. Marcus All, I know he did it with Marcus All.
I mean, this is dirty though.
I would say the most recent disrespectful interaction I can think of outside of the Zion thing was the whole debacle with Antetokounmpo and the ladder.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that was disrespectful. I don't feel like Antetokounmpo was being disrespectful. I feel like they would be a little bit over the top with their feelings. Like, let the man shoot his free throw.
They were.
Well, I mean, they also workers, man. They gotta tear this stuff down. Like,
I understand that.
I don't think that's what was going on. No. I didn't think that was going on.
Nah.
I don't think it was a situation where they were trying to break down and he was stopping them. I think they were being over.
Are you talking about
I think so too.
Are you talking about when he pushed the ladder out the way?
Yeah, when he trying to shoot his free throws, and then he like get
They
it away.
put the ladder under the rim. I don't feel like they were trying to break. There was so many other things you got to break down. They were antagonizing. That wasn't.
There were words.
We're just doing our job. Yeah, there were words exchanged. There was a lot. It wasn't just we were doing our job. That's different.
I feel like they were trying to do their job. And because the other already had a ladder, they were already doing whatever they were doing.
No, he moved to the other side because Montrez took the ball. There was no ladders. There was none of that was going on.
Are you talking about the Montrez Harrell thing situation, or you talking about?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it was the same. Yeah, it was just. I thought it was
No, it was the same.
Yeah, no, it was.
Nah,
it was the same.
night.
Yeah, it was the same night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I thought that's the reason why Montrez took the balls, because
No, there was nothing going on. Montrez just came and took the ball to be an asshole, so he moved to the other side. Now the workers are trying to enter, putting the ladder up right under the rim. They weren't breaking anything down. They were just putting it in the way.
Okay, because I've seen it after recently that there was.
Who you know put a ladder down and then don't get on it? Who just put a ladder? Just put a ladder.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell someone how to do their process. I'm not going to tell someone how to do their process.
But I'm saying if the argument was they were trying to get home, they were trying to break down the rim. Who's going to put a ladder and then walk away?
Yeah, Chris, come on now. I understand the process and thing, but you could be antagonizing. You could be antagonizing with your choices.
I don't know. I will say in another arena, I want to say it was this week or last week, they showed a picture of him doing free throws. There was a guy with the ladder behind the basket, like he's waiting for him to finish so he can do his job or whatever. I don't know everyone's process. I'm not trying to nitpick or whatever, but I understand that to me, it seems plausible. Maybe they were trying to break down. I don't think the workers there are trying to I'm gonna take it to Giannis by being a jerk. I don't get that from most people who are trying to work and get out of there. But you guys could feel it was something different.
It was something different, bro. But I guess I went better than that, man. What about that? Was pretty disrespectful. But what about Draymond calling KD a bitch?
Oh,
when he was on the same team or when he was on different teams?
One of the same team.
I mean, that's
saying that and then saying we won, but I mean, it kind of became a prophecy.
How
we won before you?
How we all collectively just leaped over the Jordan Poole getting punched in the face?
Oh,
it was off the
wow.
That was not supposed to happen. That was not supposed to be leaked. So allegedly, it should have been allegedly.
Draymond hit it with a little MIB flicker because I forgot. Oh
yeah, you're right. That's it.
Because y'all winning, man. Y'all 500 now. That's why. Or under 500 now. So
if that's what it takes.
That's what it takes. You taking one for the team, Reg?
Nah.
Okay.
That's simplicity.
Okay. So, but yeah, man. That's cool. I just want to get those disrespects, etiquettes out the way. Anything else y'all want to add to that before we close up, man?
Y'all let us know y'all most favorite disrespectful moment in the comment section or hop in the Discord.
Somebody gonna bring up the what is it, that fight that happened in Rumble in the Palace? Malice in the Palace.
I feel like I think everybody got what they deserve.
I feel like the fans is disrespectful in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were. They steady being disrespectful though. These fans be on some other team.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I want that type of money because I be going to the game and be like, I'm gonna be on my best behavior because I paid good money for this ticket.
But they paid thousands of dollars to get that close just to be acting the whole fool.
That's what I'm saying. They got the type of money is like, and they not worried about their $1,000. It's like I paid my $1,000. I'm gonna do what I came to do. I'm like, all right.
I'll be here for 2 quarters.
I'm getting 48 minutes. I'm there for the pregame warm up. If I pay $1,000 for a seat, boy, you ain't kicking me out.
Okay, you gonna be quiet. You gonna be a model citizen.
I'm apologizing profusely. Sorry, Mr. King.
For real.
You'll be sorry, Westbrook. Sorry, Westbrook.
It's all right, man. You just keep shooting. You gonna get one.
I love your commercials, bro.
I see what you're doing with the fashion.
Oh my goodness! All right, man. So yeah.
KD was holding you back, bro.
Wow. All right, man. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. Zion, what you got for us?
Oh man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode first of all, but thanks for rocking with us. Like, follow, subscribe. Check us on any one of the platforms Chris hit you with. Listen, watch, whatever you gotta do, and engage with us. That's it.
Sir.
Cool. Kev, what you got?
Keeping it simple as usual. You know we value your time. I know you could be doing other things, so we appreciate when you spend it with us. Like, comment, subscribe, like my boy just said. Let us know how you feel about the show so we can improve, update, and let us know if you want us to do something in the future. We taking suggestions.
Cool. Appreciate that. Deuce, what you got, man?
Here we go. Since we're on NBA, who was the first player to be elected unanimous MVP?
NBA player?
First,
Steph Curry.
Huh? I thought y'all gonna say Michael.
It just
Michael
happened
Jordan
like
or something.
5 years ago. What you talking about? They made a big deal about it.
That was the first ever.
You an undercover fan, Chris.
I just the same thing I just thought. I said the Warriors hater just came up with a Warriors stat. Man, he be on it. He just want to act out sometimes. He want to act out.
I'm a fan of basketball. So obviously I knew that.
It don't seem that way sometimes. But some things you be saying like you ain't knowing what's going on.
What are you talking about? Like you were like, oh, who's the best two-way player? And I'm like, I don't know. Like
Andrew Wiggins.
And then y'all say Andrew Wiggins. I feel like I don't see it, but okay, But
Ask Dub Nation. Who is their best two-way player?
Who's there? Oh, I mean, well, it's not.
Yeah,
Clay.
who's there?
It's not Clay no more.
Oh, right now?
Right now.
Clay no more.
Oh yeah, it ain't Clay no more.
Yeah,
It's probably Draymond at this point.
Two-way?
Two-way player?
Yep.
Bro, why you hate on Wiggs so much, man?
Hey, Curry, give me the ball. Curry, you gonna give me the ball because I'm a two-way player, right? That's what we talking about.
Hey, he's being more aggressive offensively. He's hitting floaters. He's hitting layups.
He's doing something, yeah.
He is doing more offensively.
So
He is doing more, no doubt.
But
That doesn't qualify.
that's my argument.
that ain't just under 20 points per game, my guy.
I mean, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, he has a better defensive rating than. It's okay. It's okay. That was a subjective question, anyways. But yeah, Steph Curry. But like I said, everyone knew that. I don't know why.
Thanks for the quiz, though. Bro.
Hey, man, I'm just glad you came out with it so quick, man.
Yeah,
Rapid fire answer, man. Yeah.
I mean, most answers of NBA history, I got you. So
I read encyclopedia.
You was stressed. You was. Yeah, you was. I don't know about that.
I feel like you below 500 to be honest, but
not when it comes to NBA. NFL, I'm below 500.
I'm gonna start keeping stats starting next time, man. That's a good point. I'm gonna start keeping stats.
Okay.
give a Snickers to the guy who gets it right. You know, bring it back to elementary school.
I'm more of a Twix guy.
Look it up, Chris. I had to look it up. Draymond is like 0.04 points less than
Why you be going to stats, Chris? Why do you do this? Because we can and he just sound crazy, and then you gonna find another stats. Well, you know, in summer you don't spend that much time in the gym. Like, come on, bro.
compared to last year, he's improved. He's improved, you know.
I mean, y'all should ask a question. He said, "What do you guys feel? What do you guys feel they're gonna say?" He's gonna say Draymond. Popular vote, man. He's a popular vote guy. So. People love Draymond for some reason. So
There's a lot of reasons.
That's true, but Dub Talks and Dub Nation and whoever other show you want to watch that talking about the Dubs, they know who it is.
Oh.
So I don't know who you watching.
Man, you know Dub Nation, Dub Talk, man, it is so boring. By the way, have y'all listened to it?
It is.
Gosh, it's
It may be coming on and just be staying on sometimes, and that's how I catch on to some of the stuff. But I don't be looking for it though.
Man, hey, I feel like we can go apply for that job. Have way more entertaining conversation.
Y'all at them and let them know the warm up ready for the job.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Dudes, get on that, please. So, anywho, for me, man, thanks everyone for watching, man. We're here every Wednesday, man. Shout out to all the college football teams that made it to the playoffs, by the way, except for Michigan. I know y'all gonna blow it, but everyone else, you know, good job, guys. So
Bama's out this year.
I don't know. Who made
Yeah,
it?
Bama's out this year,
Oh,
man.
yeah, they
It
did.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
What are y'all in? The Chick-fil-A Bowl, the Peach Bowl, Liberty Bowl, Music City Bowl,
We're playing Kiss.
Kent
Bruh,
State?
who has the most wins? The most wins in college football history? Alabama. We good. Sometimes we gotta let other teams shine, man.
Hey, I hope you guys.
Georgia's playing
hope you guys-
playing a home game. Georgia's playing a home game for a bowl game. Come on now.
Hey man, guess what? Ain't no Alabama Bowl. Oh, there is. It's Iron Bowl. You guys won that, so be happy. So just don't go to sleep against Kent State, man.
Most wins in college football history, bro. It's all good. Most championships college football history, man. It's all
I'm
good.
glad that's where you can rest your laurels on. So you know. Everyone else is living in 2022 though. So good job, guys. And with that,
Most wins, bro. We'll be back. It's all easy.
Lakers, Celtics. You could just, hey man, most wins.
yeah, I know. That's
But when's the last time the Celtics won, though? When's the last time the Celtics won?
That's what it was.
Bama,
2010.
we won in the past 2 years.
2010.
They won the most. They won.
Wow, that's so long ago. You know how many championships we won since
That's a
2010?
decade and change. Yeah, that's a decade and change now.
You know how many chips we won since 2010?
I mean, okay, that's fine. You know, no one cares.
Georgia
Talking about
just not getting back on the map, man.
2022. So you know,
Georgia just not back on the map, man.
Georgia won last year.
Welcome,
They won again.
welcome.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to
Roll
the block,
Tide.
bro.
Let's go.
That's what we got to say.
I gotta bring out my Bulldogs outfit again. Anywho, if you
That you got access to? The one you have access to?
don't worry about it. I do have access to it. I'm gonna have access to it again in 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So
Oh,
You
man.
got a layaway?
don't worry about it. See, y'all be asking these questions. I just told y'all I got access to it. Just make sure just let you know I'll have it on next time. So everything
2-3
else,
weeks.
all the details, don't even need to worry about.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, everyone else, man, all the Bulldog fans, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, And like I said, we're here every Wednesday. Check us out on Instagram, on our social medias, the Twitters, all that stuff. And yeah, so until next Wednesday, guys, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. So deuces.